The privilege of abundance, a call to stewardship. There's a moment that comes with significant wealth, particularly when someone crosses into multi-millionaire territory, where money stops being about personal security or comfort and becomes something else entirely. It becomes power, the power to save lives, to transform communities, to give people opportunities they could never access on their own. The question for anyone holding that kind of wealth is simple but profound. What will I do with this gift? Because it is a gift. However hard someone has worked, however smart their decisions, wealth at that scale doesn't happen without tremendous advantages along the way. Education, health, stable communities, economic timing, sometimes just plain luck. And once you have it, you face a choice that most people never get to make. You can change lives or you can look away. The mathematics are staggering. A family living on a few dollars a day can't afford the $20 water filter that would protect their children from dysentery. They can't buy the mosquito nets that prevent malaria. They can't access the basic medications that would save a life. For a multimillionaire, these amounts are pocket change, literally less than they might spend on coffee in a week. But directed intentionally, that same money becomes life itself for someone else. This isn't about guilt, and it isn't about erasing the legitimate accomplishments of successful people. It's about recognizing what wealth really means once you have more than enough. The difference between $10 million and $11 million changes almost nothing about how a wealthy person lives. They don't eat better food, live in a significantly nicer home, or experience measurably more security or happiness. But that marginal million could bring clean water to thousands of people, fund medical care for a community, or create sustainable livelihoods for families trapped in poverty. The concept of stewardship speaks to this directly. A steward isn't the ultimate owner. They're the caretaker, the manager, the person entrusted with resources to use wisely. The best stewards of wealth understand that their abundance isn't just for themselves. It's a trust, an opportunity, a responsibility to do good in the world while they have the chance. We see this in the wealthy individuals who take stewardship seriously. They fund wells that bring clean water to villages. They support programs that provide nutritious food to malnourished children. They invest in healthcare systems, educational opportunities, and economic development in the places that need it most. These aren't people who see charity as an obligation to grudgingly fulfill. They're people who recognize the extraordinary privilege of being able to help and who organize their lives around that opportunity. What makes someone willing to be a good steward? Often it's having witnessed suffering firsthand or having experienced hardship themselves at some point. Sometimes it's a deep religious or philosophical conviction about human dignity and mutual responsibility. Sometimes it's simply the imaginative empathy to understand that the child dying from preventable disease is someone's beloved son or daughter, just as precious as their own. The tragedy is how many wealthy people never make that connection. They insulate themselves from the reality of others' suffering, surround themselves with similar wealth, and convince themselves that they've earned the right to endless accumulation while others go without basics. They might give token amounts to charity for tax purposes, but they never truly grapple with the moral weight of holding resources that could save lives while choosing not to deploy them that way. The invitation to stewardship isn't about perfection. It's not about giving away everything until you're in poverty yourself. It's about honest recognition, recognizing how much is genuinely enough for a good life, and recognizing that everything beyond that represents a choice about what kind of person you want to be. Clean water, adequate food, basic medical care, education. These aren't luxuries, they're foundations of human dignity. And for multimillionaires, providing these things to others doesn't require sacrifice in any meaningful sense. It requires only the willingness to see people who are suffering, to recognize that you have the power to help and to act. The question facing every person of significant wealth is ultimately this: will you be a steward of your abundance or merely a collector? Will you use your gift to give others the chance at life and dignity, or will you hoard what you cannot possibly use while others die for lack of what you could easily provide? The world is watching, waiting to see who among the wealthy will answer that call with generosity and wisdom. Who will be the good stewards?